So welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to see how we can go about fixing the AC unit. Came home, typical when it's the hottest day of the year. Thermostat's saying it's 90 degrees, but the AC is spinning on the inside. Come to find out when I go outside, the outside unit's not spinning. So from what you see here, we're going to take it apart, see what's going on with it. Usually it's just a capacitor issue. I'm really hoping it's just a capacitor issue, but let's find out. Now that we got the unit open, take a look. Yeah, I know this unit's really old, but we're gonna first make sure that we discharge the capacitor. Usually do this by putting the screwdriver over it, just making sure there's no other charge. Always make sure you turn off the breaker. You can already tell by the looks of this that the capacitor is in some really bad shape, so what we want to do is take off the wiring that's to it, and then we also want to make sure that we test on a multimeter to see if the capacitor is good or bad. So we determined that the capacitor is bad, so we're going to go ahead and replace it. Got two screws that are on the sides. Once you take out the screws, you can have access to the actual capacitor, where you can swap it out for a new one. Luckily, since I'm always in and out of this unit, I got spare parts on hand. Link in the description below for all the parts that I use. Just a matter of replacing the capacitor with a new one, connecting the wires up. Then we're going to try it again, see if the unit turns on. Hopefully that's all we need. One thing that I also do is I take a picture of everything that I'm taking apart before I put it back together, because you can overlook the slightest thing, and it's always good to have a picture beforehand. As you can see, got the new capacitor, but this one doesn't exactly fit in the same space as the old one, so for now the test for this one is aside. Now that everything's connected, we're going to go ahead and turn back on the breaker, turn on the AC unit, and see what we get. So that noise that you heard was actually the contactor that was sparking. Appears to be an issue with the contactor, so unfortunately we're going to have to change that as well. Also have that part on hand. Amazon's your best friend for these things. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take out the old contactor and put in a new one. Again, what I did here was I took a picture beforehand just to have a general idea of all the wiring was going. And then putting the existing wires from the old contactor and putting it on the new one. One issue I did see is a lot of these wires are in bad shape, so they're not necessarily connected properly on the new contactor. So I'm going to have to go ahead and trim back some, put on new fittings, and connect it over. So the fittings that I have, you need to use a heat gun in order to shrink wrap it. So what I did was took out this power station I'm testing. It's by Ready, connecting it up to my heat gun. Perfect opportunity to try and see if this thing works. It actually powered it with no issue. Very surprising. After I got all the fittings on, I was able to connect the ones that were really loose once I tried transferring them over. now that everything's connected, wired up, time to test, and hopefully this is the only other thing that was wrong with it. I'm going to clean up some of this stuff in case it turns on. Don't want anything to go into the fan blades. And then I'm going to turn on back the power to the breaker. Take a minute for the unit to start up, and then we will see if it kicks on and it starts working. There you have it. Turn on just fine. Now I just gotta close everything back up, secure a few things. Thanks for watching. Until the next one.